Welcome once again to Train Tuesday. I am your host, Jim Wiggin, and so glad you have found us. If you caught us on social media, thank you. And if you caught us on YouTube and you like what you see, please do us a favor, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video drops into the Athearn YouTube channel. Now, tonight we're kind of in a transition. We are still talking about September. We extended the September deadline for pre-orders, basically since we started a little bit late. So you have until October 6th, that's a Friday, to place pre-orders of the things that we're talking about on this program, as well as ones on previous Train Tuesdays for the month of September. Now we're going to start with Athearn HO boxcars, and we're going to talk a little bit about Roundhouse, and then I've got some important updates for you. If you haven't realized it yet, you might see a new GP9 here behind me. We're going to talk a little bit about that towards the end of the show. But let's go ahead and get started and talk about what is up for pre-order this Friday, October 6th. Now we're going to start talking about the Athearn HO 50-foot ACF combo door boxcar. Now these 50-foot 6-inch boxcars, they were built in the 1960s, and they featured a combination of an 8-foot Youngstown sliding door as well as a plug door. Now combination door boxcars had the advantage of both a standard boxcar with a sliding door plus having a larger opening for larger loads. Now the plug doors provide an internal flush side walls along their location next to the sliding doors. Having these flush side walls increase the usable cubic feet capacity in the boxcar. Now many of these boxcars came with Hydra cushion or Keystone type cushioned underframes and optional damage-free load dividers. You ever see some of these boxcars, you'll sometimes see the large D and F on the side of the boxcar. That's what it's referring to. So let's talk about what we're going to be offering this month for pre-order. We're going to start at the top, and you'll see we have Santa Fe. This is painted for a 1978 era paint scheme. You can also use this well into the 1980s. This is road number 49503. We're also going to be offering road numbers 49506 as well as 49508. Every railroad that we have here pictured, you have the option of not just picking up one, but three per road name. Coming up next in the middle in that gorgeous glacier green paint scheme, 1961 era Great Northern. This is car number 36530. We're also going to be offering car numbers 36567 and 36571. Going into the 1970s, we have this Canadian National car. This is a 1974 on up paint scheme. This is car number 557453. And we're also going to offer car numbers 557648 and 557720. We have three more cars I want to show you, and we're going to step into the 1980s. So 1980s modelers, your collective requests have been answered. This is the CP rail for 1983 on up. This is car number 2000037. We'll also have car numbers 2000081 and 2000085. So again, modelers of the 1980s, you're going to want to take note of these three different CP rail cars that you can choose from. We also surprised and made a lot of you guys happy out there that we were offering the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac freight cars. This is a 1970 era paint scheme. We're offering this as well in three different road numbers. So if you're operating into the 1970s and early 80s, you're going to want to pick up at least one or more of these. This is car number 2438. We'll also be offering car numbers 2447 as well as 2478. And then finally, Southern modelers, we've heard your request. You've bombarded our Athearn product suggestion emails, and we thank you for that. So here is a little bit for you guys that are modeling the Southern Railroad in the 1970s, specifically 1974 on up. Here we have car number 522776, and we're also going to offer car numbers 522780 as well as 522789. Now, these are Athearn freight cars, but they're going to have some details, including separately applied side end ladders and brake wheel. All of these are going to be weighted for optimum performance, and they will include 33-inch machined metal wheels with the RP25 contours. That way, you're guaranteed they operate on all major brands of HO scale track. They will also include body-mounted McHenry operating scale knuckle couplers, and these all have accurately painted and printed paint schemes on them. This is all from the Athearn research files. And if you're wondering what the minimum radius on these cars is, minimum radius is 18 inches. So it doesn't matter if you've got a large layout or a small layout or a modular layout, these will find homes relatively simply. Now, MSRP on these is $32.99. That's per car. Again, that is MSRP. So consult with your Athearn dealer to see what your price is. Athearn sells everything at MSRP, and we advertise at MSRP. We do that because we have an extensive Athearn dealer network, and we would prefer you to go through your local hobby shop or online retailer. All right, let's switch over to Roundhouse now. And for Roundhouse, we're offering the Athearn Roundhouse 24-foot ore car. These always do amazingly well, but we've done something a little bit different. We're not going to be offering these as singles like we have in the past. Rather, we're going to be offering these in a 8-pack. So what you see there is pack number 1 with 8 individual cars with different road numbers. We are going to have a total of 3 8-packs per road. Now, iron ore is a rock from which metallic iron can be extracted. About 98% of the mined iron ore is used to make steel. Many railroads around the Great Lakes have used unit trains that transport mined iron ore to transport via barge for processing. These trains are very distinctive, with train sets of small cars carrying very heavy loads of this dense iron ore. If you know anything about this material, it is extremely heavy, very dense, hence the cars are 24 foot in length. And it's also a great way for anybody that is part of a modular club that sets up in a public area to set up a rather impressive train, since these were just standard trains of nothing but iron ore. Now, the first road that we're offering, it's a 1950s era paint scheme, and it's the Duluth, Mississippi, and Iron Range. Now, what you see here is the first multi-pack. Again, the multi-packs will include 8 cars, all individual road numbers. There will be no duplicates. You have on top of this one 2 more 8-packs. So that's going to allow you to build up a rather impressive train economically. But there's another one for 1950s era fans that we're offering. If you are modeling steam or early diesel transition era, we also have the Bessemer and Lake Erie. This is again a 1950s era car. This is pack number 1. I'm not going to read the road numbers like I normally do because it's going to start to sound like a numbers channel. You can see the complete details by going to the Athearn website and going to the announcements tab and seeing the PDF as well as the the road numbers that we're offering. Again, this is coming in 3 separate 8-packs. Going into the 1980s, we wanted to offer the Chicago Northwestern. Now, the Chicago Northwestern, we've got 3 different 8-packs, just like the others. But for you guys that are modeling the 1980s, here you go. You've got something a little bit different. Likewise, kind of staying in that same era, or I'm sorry, same region, we're going to jump to the 2000s. And we're also offering the Wisconsin and Southern. So once again, 2000s era, and it's going to have 3 different 8-packs. Now, why do we do the 8-packs? Well, A, these typically run as a unit, and B, anytime we offered these in the past, we would offer them as a single as well as different types of multi-packs. The multi-packs continually sold out because we know most folks are purchasing these and making their unit iron ore trains. The singles, they didn't usually sell quite as quickly. So to make it easier on you, we decided to make these in the 8-pack with 3 different 8 packs, all with non-duplicating road numbers. Now, even though these are Roundhouse and they're not going to feature the delicate details of an Athearn Genesis or even some of the standard details of an Athearn car, that doesn't mean they're not the perfect car for your layout or modular setup. These are perfect for, like I said earlier, somebody that takes their modular setup to a public place. We all know that the public loves to see long, long trains. These are ideal for that. You can easily get these to your next meet and set up a rather impressive train, and you're not going to be out a lot of money. These are going to go for MSRP $199.99 for the 8 pack. Now, again, keep in mind that's MSRP. So talk to your dealer about your price. Now, some of the features on these cars, they're all going to have a separately applied brake wheel. The loads are removable, so you have that option. Even though for their small size, we've got them weighted for the optimum performance. And these two, even though they're Roundhouse, they will include nickel silver wheels with the RP25 profile. They're also going to include body-mounted McHenry scale knuckle spring couplers already installed. They're pretty much ready for you to just take out of the box and put on your layout or module. If you want to weather them, that's up to you. The nice thing about these cars too is they also feature razor sharp painting and printing. So just because they're Roundhouse and they don't have quite as much detail, they still get the same amount of painting and printing that a Genesis model would get, or even an Athearn car. And the minimum radius on these is 15 inches. So this is a great little car to add to your collection if you're part of the iron ore industry, whether you have it on a module or your layout, or if you need some for the club layout, these are perfect to add to your collection. Now, once again, you have until Friday, October 6th to place all your pre-orders on everything that we've talked about on this program. So there you have it. We got a little bit of everything this month, and we gave you a little bit of extended time. Now, keep in mind the October announcements were announced this past Friday, September 29th, and those run until the end of October as well. So you've kind of got a little bit of a transition between September and October. Again, we wanted to extend the deadline for September items just because we got a late start. Now, one thing I did want to talk to you about is you probably noticed that GP9 I've got in the background there. Probably wanted to know a little bit more about it. Well, those are the GP9s that we announced back in April of 22. And if you pre-ordered those, you might be getting a phone call from your dealer or an email from your dealer saying, hey, they're on their way, because they are indeed on their way. They are on their way. In fact, we've just gotten some production samples like the one you see behind me, and we've gotten them into the photography studio. They're making their way onto the website as we speak. And just to let you know what is available, maybe you didn't pre-order these, we're going to give you a little bit of time to see what's out there and place an order with your dealer in case you didn't pre-order. So let's get those started. We're starting first with the Southern Pacific and the Kodachrome. Really cool paint scheme for a railroad that never came to be. These are Southern Pacific rebuild Jeeps. We offered these in 4 different road numbers. Again, these should be on dealer shelves by middle to end of October. If you pre-ordered, you should be hearing from your dealer soon. If not, you still have some time to maybe secure one of these. Again, Southern Pacific, 1980s, and 4 different road numbers. Also part of that announcement was the Milwaukee Road. The Milwaukee Roads are being offered in 3 different road numbers, variations of the paint scheme. And one thing to note too is that number plate that you see secured just before the dynamic brake blister. This was a Milwaukee Road feature. It's something that we've never done before, so it's all new tooling. And take it from me, it is an absolutely beautiful locomotive, and the number boards are a nice touch. This finally allowed us to do Milwaukee Road as it should be done. 3 different road numbers for Milwaukee Road. We've got 3 different road numbers for the Great Northern in the Big Sky Blue. It was a paint scheme that came out in '67. Short-lived paint scheme because it wasn't too long after that Burlington Northern came into being, and they went a different route. They didn't go with the Big Sky Blue. They went with Cascade Green. However, these GP9s probably lived most of their lives with this paint scheme, and you can add three of these to your fleet if you like, three different road numbers for the GP9s. Seaboard Coastline, we offered three different road numbers for the Seaboard Coastline. There are variations on this paint scheme on all three models. If you're a fan of the Seaboard Coastline, you're going to want to pick these up. Really cool paint scheme. And keep in mind, we ran three road numbers, and each one is a little bit different. That's the beauty of Athearn Genesis. They are prototype and road number specific in their details. One that probably surprised a lot of folks when we announced it was the Northern Alberta Railway. We offered this in three different road numbers. Now, they only had about 11 of these GP9s. We are running three different road numbers, pretty much as they were seen from the mid 60s to the mid 70s and as they came from the factory. And then finally, the simplified Chesapeake and Ohio paint scheme. Three different road numbers with this as well. These models replicate the simplified paint scheme that C&O did in the mid 1960s. And simple as it is, I still find it as an elegant model. Now, we offered these in both DCC ready as well as DCC with sound, complete with the Soundtrack Tsunami 2 decoder. Now, like I said, we should start seeing these hit the dealer shelves probably about mid to late October. So if you missed out on these on the original pre-order, be sure to contact your Athearn dealer. It won't be too long before we start seeing more train shows as fall comes upon us, and you're going to want to upgrade your fleet with some of these GP9s from the Athearn Genesis line. Now's your chance to do it. So that's all I've got for you in this program. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll be talking about the October announcements. October announcements in full are available now on our YouTube channel. And every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, I come with a new Train Tuesday where we go in depth about the models that we're featuring that month for pre-order. Until next time, everybody, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, high greens. Take care.